What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy, Kyle Milligan, coming to you live from Boca Raton, Florida. And today I want to tell you how to load up on copywriting clients with no experience. And I had an experience today. I was watching some YouTube stuff, a guy named Miles Beckler, who I follow very closely. I want to kind of talk about some of the stuff that I saw in his video that kind of jibed with what I've been saying for quite a while about how to get clients. One of the questions that I answered this question before, how to get clients with no experience, and the example I used before was this guy emailed me and said, hey, I've been in the healthcare niche working in the healthcare field for about 10 years. He said, I want to get out of that and I want to get into internet marketing, specifically copywriting. And I've done a whole video on that. I think it was like a 30-minute video. And I basically explained, like, you need to start with credibility. When it comes to getting clients, I think the easiest way, everyone asks, what's the edge, right? What's the edge? And specifically people are asking, what's the edge above other copywriters? It's so easy. It's a little bit of credibility. Because I'll tell you, based on what I'm seeing and the questions that I'm getting, most copywriters kind of just run out there and they go, all right, I read this book, I'm ready to start helping people, and I want to make a bunch of money, and they start just cold pitching. And they use some stupid template that the person they're pitching has probably already seen before already. So it's like, that's already going to fail. So when that guy in the healthcare niche asked me how to get clients, I said, here's what I would do. And this is what I am doing with this channel, with my Facebook Lives. And when I transform over to YouTube, I package my knowledge and I sell the knowledge. So I told him, I said, dude, if you want to get into copywriting, what you need to do is package all that information, that 10 years of experience in the healthcare field, and sell it. And I think that's going to be like the number one most important thing. It's like a compounding thing where, one, you already have income, so you're not desperate for clients, and then also you have results. You already have created results, and that in itself creates credibility. And again, that's the circle like people keep running into, is like, how do I be credible if I've never worked, if I've never done a job or done a copywriting gig, et cetera, et cetera. And basically what they say is, I don't have any experience. How to get experience if no one they'll hire somebody with no experience, right? That roundabout over and over and over. What people fail to see is they can connect their experiences. Experience is contextual. Experience is context-based. So when I got the job at Agora Financial, which I've also made a video about that, and I've heard several people now have told me they got the job within the Agora companies thanks to that video, because I basically didn't have any copywriting experience, but I got a job at the best copywriting place in the world. And the way I did that is I took my experiences in my life and I related them to copy, even things that weren't related, right? We'll circle back to Miles now. So Miles was talking about, you pick a audience. Basically, if you only got paid after a result or transformation, what would that result be, okay? So he's talking about, like, what kind of person can you help? So you don't say, okay, I want to go into financial copywriting, or I want to go do this, or do that. It all starts at, like, what is a result that you can produce? And whenever you start thinking of it as in terms of that actual result, it becomes a lot easier to pitch yourself. Because, for instance, to get a job at a copywriting place, I could have leaned on my general sales experience, right? In college, I leased apartments. I was selling apartments. After that, I got my master's in accounting, and I took the CPA exams, and I tried to be like a white-collar accountant, and I failed at that. It was not for me. I ended up right back in sales on the phones. So I had in-person, face-to-face sales experience. I had on-the-phone sales experience, right? I had zero successful copywriting results to speak of. But I could produce the result of a sale. Does that make sense? I didn't say I'm a great copywriter. I said I could create a result of a sale, right? So who could I help with that experience of mine? People who want to make sales, right? That brings me to another point that I want to make. Okay, so it's not just good enough to be able to produce a result. The next thing is, you don't want to pick a niche. Miles and Dean Jackson, I think, said, you want to pick an audience. So what I would recommend while you're picking your audience, pick the smallest audience possible. And I got some of these ideas. I'll give you two books right now. One is Purple, you can't read my handwriting of it, Purple Cow, Seth Godin. And then the other one is Tipping Point. This is by Malcolm Gladwell, okay? Purple Cow, Tipping Point. Talk about the way that things are adapted in, like, the world, right? How things become popular. And basically what you can boil it down to is this pattern that success always starts way out there on the fringes, right? You got like this kind of curve right here, This is sort of like a success curve, or sort of like the bell curve of like the mainstream, right? And basically, you kind of want to start out here, right here, with a little itty bitty pond, a little bitty thing out on the fringes. And then as you gain popularity, you can kind of step it up and move into the mainstream. And I was talking to someone this week who was talking about starting a podcast, and they said, I just love this podcast that I listen to. I could listen to these two people talk about their lives all day. I listen to it every morning. I want to do something like that. And I was like, well, that's a big pond. The pond where someone will just listen to you talk about your life. You've got to have built an audience in a relationship. And there's no way you can build an audience in a relationship if you start in this section of the curve. If you're a tiny, tiny fish with no audience and no following, and all of a sudden you're trying to speak to the mainstream, you're going to be completely, like, just overlooked. You're going to be completely washed over, all right? So instead, I suggest you pick somewhere way out here, like as niche and obscure as you can go, almost. Okay, this is about copywriting. This is about creating products. This is about anything. So let's talk about relating this. I have a YouTube/Facebook Lives thing, all right? And I started out here in the fringes. I didn't talk about marketing. I didn't talk about sales. I broke down financial sales copy for 2 hours at a time to get my first followers. Copywriting probably is like somewhere down here still. Like, my friends and family still have no idea what I do, right? So that's how fringe we are. Like, my friends and family, like, no one's gonna follow your channel. There's probably like 30 people in the world who even know what you do. That's good. That's good, because this is a baby pond. This is a mud puddle, and I can be a gigantic fish in this little tiny mud puddle. So I don't have to do as much or a lot. Like, to stand out over here is going to take like a lot of time and effort. And everyone sees that. Everyone sees, like, on YouTube, the PewDiePies, right? The #1 broadcaster who just kind of gets up there and talks about memes, right? Like, I'm gonna go be like PewDiePie. I'm gonna talk about memes. I'm gonna become famous. No. PewDiePie started here, streaming video games. All right, don't forget that. Like, this, everyone looks to here, right? They want to be Grant Cardone. They want to be Frank Kern. They want to be Gary Vee. No, Gary Vee started down here with Wine Library, right? Frank Kern started down here with direct marketing. And Grant Cardone, he's kind of just like jumping on the Frank Kern train right now. They started their own agency and they're moving up here, right? So everyone kind of wants to skip that step and jump straight into the mainstream thing, where they're just sharing about their lives and their life experiences, and everyone's going to tune and it's going to be so great. So instead, pick an audience that has some use for a result that you've produced in the past. But the point is to get the clients. It starts with the credibility, right? Because if what I do, I told that one guy, sell the healthcare knowledge as a thing. If you don't have any copywriting experience, sell something. Create the experience, create the results that you can report it. You can say, hey, I work in the health, I've sold healthcare niche products, which is his own products and like his own experience, and I've been able to generate XYZ dollars in revenue. He's created his own credibility. I said, take that expertise, find a little pond, right? And find some people who could use that. Someone who's just getting started in the healthcare niche or anything. Something where you can sell one to few, right? One to few. Get some really excited people about this product and sell it to them. Now you have a result to speak of. And I think this is something that's going to irritate the folks who ask this question. It requires work, and the people want to read the book. They want to read the book, they want to go get the millions. They want to read the book, they want to go get the millions. But it's going to require credibility. I think it all starts and ends with credibility. What else do we got? Sales, smallest pond. Pick the smallest pond you can. Pick the smallest pond you can. So if you're trying to get clients, you start there. You create those results. You create that credibility for yourself, and it's very easy by picking something where you've got results, right? Start with results, start with credibility. I've got results or something to speak of in this field, and then you want to basically sell to those very, very few people at first. And then after you hit some success in there, you can take that success and you can extrapolate it and move up the curve, right? Until you've got a bunch of people in a waiting list trying to get your services, right? Because you can't handle all these clients. Starts here, work. And that's where a lot of people get hung up. Pretty much what I'm trying to nail down. So it starts with credibility. It starts with your experiences. Who can you help? Start at a teeny tiny pond, sell them something, create the result, create the credibility for yourself. I've got this cheap book It's a couple bucks. You can get a book at kylethewriter.com/book that explains the emotions that you need to hit, the things that you need to trigger to make a person want to buy your stuff. All right, that's it. I hope this was useful. It's going to do it for me. Peace out, Copy Squad.